Hello everyone and welcome back to Vlada's Place. In today's video, we're going to learn how to make homemade hearty beef broth. This will be a healthy start to all sorts of meals and wonderful soups. So the first step is to get some bones, and as you can see, the bigger the better because they contain more of the bone marrow. To bones, I also like to add a package of beef feet because they help make the broth so much thicker. Pieces like this are excellent. Since this process takes a little while, I would suggest that you do a lot at once because you can make a lot of broth and store it. The first step is roasting these bones. And the reason we do that is to bring the richness of the meat or the broth. So once you put it on, let's say 375, 400, you want to take it out and turn it around and make sure that it's roasted on both sides. I hope that you have a nice big stainless steel broth pot in your kitchen. If you don't, I would highly suggest investing in a pot like this because you will use it over and over. And once you make homemade broth, trust me, you will want to do this often. I'm adding some water to the baking pan and I'm going to warm it up to loosen up all these caramelized flavor. The fat is set aside and I'll use it to add it to my chicken feed. When it comes to vegetables and herbs, this is per your preference. Onions, carrots, celery, and parsley are just the standard thing you can add to your broth, but I'm going with a lot more. I'm adding the big celery root, parsnips, carrots. I will also add some ginger, garlic, and bay leaves and a few other herbs and spices. When making broth, I would not concern myself too much about peeling the onion or peeling the garlic. So all you need to do is just kind of rinse it a little bit and all of this can go in. And in fact, the onion peel or the dry peel on onion and garlic contain a lot of good minerals. So bring it all in, add some parsley, and I'm adding also parsnip as I mentioned. All these different vegetables will enhance the flavor of broth so much that when you make your soups or any dishes that you create from it, you will not need to use a lot of spices to make your dish delicious and good tasting. Also, once these vegetables are thoroughly cooked, I'm going to take them out of the broth and I'm going to use them to make a vegetable cream soup. I just love the look of the silly carrots. Celery root is so rich in flavor and it's so good for you. Now that we have our vegetables in, we're going to add some bay leaves, salt, pepper, or any other herb that you might like. And in my case, I'm going to add a little bit of ginger and also I'm going to add just a touch of turmeric. If possible, I would suggest using spring or filtered water. An important tip is to start with the cold water. This is just one of those things that my grandmother was really strict about. Apparently, when you start, especially if you start with a whole chicken, not roasted chicken, then you want meat to release the juices slowly. Because if you put it in a hot water, then meat would get sealed and you would not have as rich of a broth. So let's start with the cold water, just for the grandma's sake. Broth is now cooking and I just made this spaghetti squash for the first time in my life and I absolutely love it. I've been cooking my whole life and I never ever made spaghetti squash and I just feel like I just discovered something amazing and all along this has been out there. So for all of you who have never tried a spaghetti squash instead of pasta, I would highly suggest it. A pot of this size will take a while to start boiling. So keep it on a medium low. And once you bring it to the boiling temperature, you can reduce it even a little bit more and just allow the broth to steadily boil for about 3 to 4 hours. Once done, put it in containers like this one and do allow fat to stay on top. Don't remove it now because the fat will help preserve the broth and make it even richer and better. When you're ready, just make sure that you slowly thaw your broth, and then you have a perfect beginning to all sorts of wonderful dishes and soups. This particular soup is made with the homemade noodles, bok choy, mushrooms, onions, and few other herbs. And let me tell you, it was unbelievably delicious. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Vlada Vladik, and I'm a founder of a charitable organization whose mission is reconnecting families and communities in America, and also teaching kids and young families how to cook, garden, and basically trying to bring families back to dining table while teaching them more homesteading skills. My next video will feature how to cure your own bacon. Until then, I'm sending you greetings from California, and please take care of yourself.